Hello, good day. This is Jay with First Direct Corp. And today I want to talk about custom application development and integration with GoldMine with using this product called DbNetSuite, which is really a suite of products, grid applications, web form editing applications. There's a file like document management application. There's spellers. There's graphing. There's different elements, web components, um, to be able to build custom applications. They could be as simple or as complex as you need. They have on this page here that I'm on. This is my installation of this, but they've taken you out to some sample things. These are all samples, examples of their application in use, and things that you can do with their application. And I want to kind of show you some of these things and give you an idea of what's possible with it. And this is what they call it's a self-hosted application. So this is something I have installed. You can see here in my web browser, localhost. Localhost means that it's my computer. It's hosted here. They give me a dynamic port, and then this is the root folder for this application. If I close this all out and I go to start and type in DbNetSuite, you can see this is the application here. It's installed on this computer that I'm on, but this could certainly be on your server and hosted on your server in your office, or it could be as simple as I have here installed here on my computer. But this is not a cloud application. You could open it up and from your office and open it up to the outside world, so that you could access it from anywhere with an internet connection. But for the most part, these are what we call locally self-hosted applications. So I want to start with just a simple demonstration. I'm going to click on this simple sample here. You're very more than likely to go out to the internet and look at DBNet Suite. You can see I've got an evaluation. It expired, so I'm getting these pop-ups. And those are annoying little things that will pop up during this demonstration because I haven't paid for a license. So I'm kind of using the free trial. The free trial still work. It's just going to give you that annoying pop up every time. But this is a basic what they call DBNet grid, and what this grid is doing is it's looking at some information in a database and presenting it to me in a grid element. A lot of the things you see here are out of the box. Nothing more was done than being able to connect to a database table, and saying, give me this column, this column, this column, this column, etc. from that database. So I basically, you set up some source code in here. This is about it. This is That's all the code that's set up in here. And basically, we're saying, go ahead and connect to this samples database and give me everything that's in the customer's database table. And then basically, that's what it does. So a couple of lines of code, and we are able to access information in a database, in this case, a SQL database, or it could be an Access database, etc. And I get automatically this whole entire grid element. I can look at and filter by specific things. So maybe I'm looking for a specific customer ID, and I can say contains, equal to, greater than. So I have the ability to filter this grid. I can go ahead and uh, look at the current row and make changes to the row. So I could edit any one of these rows and apply those changes. And again, this pop-up is going to pop up. I can add a row. I can add to the database, so I can insert information into this database table. And of course, I can delete. And if there's a prompt here to confirm if I want to complete. Again, not all of that is out of the box. No code was written to make that possible. I can take away certain elements. I can say, hey, I don't want them to be able to delete. I can take away that button. I can take away the ability to edit or insert. And you can see I have 91 rows in this database table, and it's paged. So it's showing me the first 10 or 15 lines there, and I can look through and page through this information on the screen. So I can go from the beginning or end, I can go to the end, I can go to the beginning, and I can even export this. I can decide, hey, you know what? I want to export this to Word, Excel, XML, CSV, or PDF. And when I do that, there it is in my dashboard. So that's all 91 rows of this database table in a web browser. I could then grab this information from the browser and maybe paste it into an email and send it as an email. I could save this web page as a PDF and email the PDF. But that's a very basic, simple DBNet grid element. We can specify the columns. We can join multiple database tables together. So this is an example where there's actually two database tables, but being viewed in one grid. So there's some company information and there's some order information about the products this company may have ordered. Uh, we can customize the look and feel of this grid. You can see here the background colors here are kind of a bluish color. We can change the elements, the size. We have a lot of control over the grid. I can change the size of the grid. So anything that you might want to be able to do as far as customizing your app, displaying YouTube videos. So here within this grid, we've got different videos within a grid. So instead of it being contact information, we're basically linking into some custom videos and we're showing YouTube videos within inside this grid, right? So it's web content, it's web enabled. We can do batch editing. So if I'm on a row and I want to do a batch edit, it's going to allow me to click on to now get into this entire grid. And so instead of editing a row one at a time, I can edit any one of these multiple over, I can change the value of these all at once and then apply those changes in bulk. Lots of functionality. I would strongly suggest if you have an interest in expanding your business's functionality or capability at looking at an application like DBNet Grid, DBNet Suite, and looking at some of these examples. You can do totaling, subtotaling. There's quick searching. There's fixed filtering. We can link multiple grids together, and this is where the power of this product really comes into play. I'm going to close these boxes. I can have one database table linked to a database table and linked to another one. So as I select through these rows of information, and this grid, right? This is DBNet grid we're showing. As I click on a specific row or contact in this database table, it's showing me all the orders of that record. So now I can go ahead and say, hey, I need to add another order. So now my add order entry form pops up and I can enter another order for the customer that I've selected. Well, when I'm done adding that order, well, what are the items of that order? There are order details. What did they order? They have it's the product ID, the quantity, the unit price, etc. So this is all linked together. This is what they call linked grids. When you think of a database is a collection of different tables of information, but all linked together with unique IDs, order IDs, customer IDs, etc. There's charting. I can add charts. So if I want to be able to chart information, I can go in and apply charts capability. What's funny is I'm not actually seeing the chart, so there's something going on with my charting element there, but that's a pre-configured chart. Yeah, there we go. So here's a chart. I can chart data in the grid if it's data that can be charted, if the data lends itself to being able to be charted or graphed, if you will. Um, we can do hyperlinks, uploading files and data. We can do totals and subtotals, right? So maybe I need to run a report based on total sales, number of sales. And again, this is can be either used to access an existing database, so maybe data in your GoldMine database, or we can build an entirely complete custom application and and create an application like this, like you're seeing, to link data and insert data and report on data, etc. Again, I would strongly suggest looking at it. That is just DBNet Grid. If we look at what DBNet Edit is, DBNet Edit is almost like a web form that is looking at a single row, a single entry in your database table. So before, instead of seeing all of them at once, now I can kind of see each element in a form element, if you will, a web form element. Um, and of course, the DBNet Grid and the DBNet Edit can both be linked together. So here we do linking a form to a grid. So we're going to click on this. So here we have a form on the left, right, which is kind of a lookup list of maybe contacts and customers. And on the right is how I can view that entire record. So you can see over here on the grid on the left, I'm only showing or only seeing a couple of first name, last name, and reports too. Well, on the right hand side, I'm seeing a deeper look into that contact and that row in a form. So this is DBNet Grid with a DBNet form linked together to create a very simple application with which gives me filtering and deleting options and obviously edit capability. So it's a what they call a CRUD application: create, read, update, delete. DbNetSuite, DbNet Edit, they are CRUD applications for creating, reading, updating, and deleting information in a database. You got one to many. So here over here we have one grid linked to many grids, right? So as I click on this, it's taking me through kind of like an order. So this is the customer, these are the orders, and these are the order detail information. So there's three orders, and each order has its own information about what the date, the time, how much did they spend, etc. And there's a lot we can. There's a lot of control over the flexibility. We can control properties. We can do window searching, linking. I mean, it gets as complicated as you want it to be or need it to be. Now, obviously, we're a gold mine shop, and I want to present this because I've had customers who have contacted me who want to. Let me launch my thing here again. Want to integrate applications like this with their gold mine. So I'm going to launch my DBNet suite. Go to my samples, and I think I want to go to simple ASPX. No, it is not that. Let me see what this thing is called. DbNet Edit simple. That's what it is. DbNet Edit. Simple dot. Give me a second here, folks. DbNet Edit simple samples. DbNet Edit simple. Samples. I'm not able to find it. Why is that? Let's see here. This is it. Hold on. All right, I've got it. I have it, folks. Sorry. It's the dynamic thing at the beginning here. Here's my simple one. All right. So this is a very simple grid. I've done a very simple integration with Goldmine with this, but I want to demonstrate how this works. So this is my record in Goldmine, and in the pending tab, if you go to my pending tab, you'll notice uh, in new critical callback date. Here we go. There's two what they call new critical callback dates. I'm going to delete these two. I'm going to delete these two. So I'm deleting the critical callback dates. Let me sort this. I'm going to sort it by activity type because it's a call that's getting scheduled. So you'll notice right now in my record, there's no call. There's no call scheduled in Goldmine. I'm going to stop my, hope that doesn't crash my Goldmine. Good, it doesn't. Awesome. So there's no call currently scheduled on my record. And again, this is a very basic integration example. But what I want to do is what customers have asked about is being able to integrate grids like this with their gold mine. So in this grid, I have a birth date field. There's a birth date field here, but let's say it's a it's a call date. It's a date field, right? When I populate this field, let's not call it a birth date. Let's call it a callback date. That is what my customer had as an example. They wanted to be able to. They have an application that does all sorts of project management, and when somebody populates this with a value, and I'm going to choose today's date, August. Today is August 17th. So I'm going to populate this date. And again, let's think of this as a callback date for somebody to call the customer back based on a project. And this is right now it's tied to my record, but this would ideally be tied to a David Nancy record in my gold mine. But when I update or populate this record, right? So I populate this, and then you come down here and you hit this little green. It doesn't populate automatically or update. You have to apply the change. So it's not. I could have it do it on the fly, but it's one of those things where it's always best to have the user click something to verify that what they entered is correct. I might have picked the wrong date, and I don't want it to just do it on the fly, because then if there's automation, it's just going to do it, boom. And oh, I didn't want that. That's not the right date. So by clicking this little green checkbox, you'll see apply changes to the current record. I now want to update this record in my custom app. But when I do that, you'll notice up here, success. Goldmine calendar entry was created. So I've created this little hidden alert bar, this notification bar up here, that's letting the user know that it did create a calendar entry in Goldmine. So I'm going to go back to my Goldmine, and I'm going to sync my Goldmine with my office. I actually work from home, and this is my Goldmine on my computer. So I want to make sure that I sync my Goldmine with the office to pick up these changes, because that change has happened in the office, not here on this computer. And that's because the integration that I've set up is to be integrated with the Goldmine in my office. And basically, once this sync process is done, that called back date will be entered in, it'll be in my record. So it tells me I haven't been syncing because I've got lots of things that are syncing. So I'm just going to go check my server. So bear with me here, folks. I'm going to go connect to my server. Take a look at what's going on. Because that sync shouldn't take very long, and it is. Let's take a look. Yeah, as I suspected, I think something's happening at my server level. But that is basically the integration, uh, a way of integrating that app. There is a way, there is a process that we have a methodology using an API that's a web-based API that allows web apps and way integrating your Goldmine via the web. I've integrated websites and web forms and web applications, marketing systems with Goldmine using this API. And the purpose of today's call was to demonstrate that that is actually also doing it with this custom application. So I'm gonna take a look at what's going on here. Yeah. So if we go, all right, so it's done syncing. So I'm just going to go back on and come back, and there you go. So there you'll see here at 8/17/2022 at 8 a.m. That's when I book these things. There is no time inside the app. It's just a call. So I always booking them for 8 a.m. on that day. So when I come in the mornings, if that when that call back date is scheduled, it's scheduling it for me, but it could be for the user that's logged into the other app, however you want that. And basically, you'll see here new critical call back date, and these are where you can put some notes about the scheduled call. So if you want to put notes, I can even put some notes inside this custom app, right? Maybe I have a field like this in this notes, so that when these notes are updated based on this call, I want to put the call date and the notes of this form inside Goldmine. And there's all sorts of functionality that can be done that says, hey, if I update these notes, well, then go ahead and update the notes of the call in Goldmine, right? So there's all sorts of workflow that can be done between integrating an application, custom application like this DbNetSuite, DbNet Edit products with your Goldmine. Maybe when I create a record here, I want to create the record in Goldmine, but only create the record if it doesn't exist in Goldmine, right? So there's lots of workflow logic that could be done to integrate these custom apps with your Goldmine. And then finally, I know I kind of had this viewed while I was here, but here's an example of a DBNet grid that's inside your Goldmine. So obviously you could create a custom application that's in a browser that you load up in a browser. But if you want to do like reporting or have grids that do totaling and subtotaling and get some very basic reports, Goldmine's GM Plus View has the ability to create lots of custom views and grids I haven't done much with that in a long time. Some of these probably haven't been touched in a bit, but what we could do is we could do something with DbNetSuite where you have a report that's showing you total sales, total calls by month, by user, by whatever, by industry, whatever the reporting needs you need. DbNetSuite could be used to, DbNet Grid could be used to look at the data in your Goldmine database and just present you very quick summaries. Obviously, you got the charting capability as well, so we could do some charting in there. So that's DB NetSuite in a nutshell. Again, I would recommend going out to their website. If you Google DB NetSuite, I believe it's dbnetsuite.com. No, it is not DB NetSuite. So let's just Google that. DBNet, I think it's DBNet Link. But let me just Google DB NetSuite. Yeah, it's dbnetlink.net. And if you go to their main site, dbnetlink.net, so this is their main site. DBNet Suite is the application we're talking about. They've got custom DBNet Time and DBNet Copy, which are prepackaged kind of applications for moving databases and things. But you really want to look at the DBNet Suite. When you view those details, DBNet Suite again is a suite of applications: DBNet Grid, DBNet Edit, List, Spell, File, DBNet Combo. All of these can be integrated together to provide and create and build a custom self-hosted application, right, for CRUD operation, creating, reading, updating, and modifying the information in an application, a database, whether it's a custom database or a Goldmine database. And again, they have a very basic sample. They have a 60-second demo that you can do. They got integration, frequently asked questions. If you have questions about how to um, set up or install, or if you have any questions about what I've just demonstrated, please do give us a call here at First Direct, 845-221-3800. Thank you.